Hello, my name is Heidi Olson, and I'm the Director of Licensing and School Support for New Horizon Academy and Kinderberry Hill. Before we dive into today's presentation, I want to pause and reflect on something deeper than checklists and licensing rules. The heart behind our work and the meaningful why that should always be top of mind. We know at times the number of policies and procedures we must follow can sometimes feel a lot, especially with licensing, NACI, and NECPA standards all in play. But behind every policy, rule, and standard lies a greater purpose, and that is to give each child a safe, supportive, and nurturing start in life. For 54 years, the Dunkley family has lived this mission, consistently exceeding standards to ensure New Horizon Academy and Kinderberry Hill remain leaders in the field of early education. I'd like to shift our focus now to you, our school family, and the vital role each of you plays when it comes to upholding our policies and procedures. When we create or update policies to keep our children safe, we're also thinking about you, your safety, your well-being, and your success. Today, I'd like to connect with you to focus on two key policies that are essential to our work: safety and supervision, and behavior guidance. Supervision incidents are at an all-time high, both here in Minnesota and across the country. When we created the Enhanced Transition Tracker, it was with one clear goal: to ensure every child is accounted for during transitions within our school. And when it's used consistently and correctly, it works. I know it's easy to think, that could never happen to me, but the truth is, it can. Distractions happen, children wander or hide, and an incident can unfold in just seconds. Now imagine the danger of leaving a child unsupervised on the playground simply because we chose not to use the tracker, thinking, I've got it, I know how to count, or I don't need it. A stranger could walk by and take the child. The child could slip out the playground gate and wander into the street. In just moments, everything can change. One decision, choosing not to follow a policy, can lead to devastating consequences. That's why our procedures matter. They're not just rules, they are safeguards put in place to protect the children and each of you. We will be covering the transition policy today to ensure you have a clear understanding of each transition steps. But I want to make it very clear that any intentional disregard to following supervision and transition policies will result in a disciplinary action, suspension, or termination. We must remain vigilant, follow every policy with intention, and never take shortcuts when it comes to safety. Every time you use a tool like the Transition Tracker, you are fully engaged in supervision, and you are actively protecting a child and honoring the families that have placed trust in us. I know the work you do each day comes with challenges. You are experiencing more behavior disruptions and increasing demands from parents than ever before. We know it's hard, but I want to remind you, no matter how tough the moment feels, you cannot let that pressure take you down a path where you compromise a child's health and safety by not following our behavior guidance policy. Each of you completed training on our behavior guidance policy, which outlines positive, developmentally appropriate strategies for redirecting children. It also clearly defines the actions that are strictly prohibited, ensuring we respond to challenging behaviors in ways that are safe and respectful for children. Let's walk through a hypothetical behavior guidance incident so you fully understand the gravity your actions could have. Imagine this. It's late in the afternoon and the classroom energy is high. One of your toddlers is having a particularly tough day. They've been hitting, they've been throwing toys, and resisting direction. You've already tried multiple strategies, calm reminders, redirection, engaging them in a preferred activity, but nothing seems to be working. And you're tired. Your patience is worn thin, and you're starting to feel overwhelmed. Then, in the middle of helping another child, you turn around and you see the child push a peer to the floor. Frustration takes over. In a split-second reaction, you rush over, you raise your voice, and you firmly grab the child's arm to pull them away. But in your frustration, you use more force than intended, and the child starts to cry and holds their arm. In that moment, your actions, though driven by stress, have crossed a line. I'm going to walk you through the steps of what happens after an incident like this occurs. The parents will be contacted, as the child will more than likely need medical attention. If the injury involves a broken bone or a dislocated arm, your school's leadership team will be required to complete a serious report of injury and submit that to licensing. Because we are mandated reporters, the incident must also be reported, and 2 investigations will occur. One internally through our organization and one conducted by your state's licensing division. When incidents like this occur, the trust the families place in us is deeply shaken, and we've fallen short of our promise to providing the very best experiences for the children in our care. Intentionally harming a child will result in immediate termination. But it's important to understand that the consequences may not end just there. Being responsible for serious maltreatment could lead to the loss of your background study clearance, something that is required to work in this field. In some cases, criminal charges may also apply, as a parent may press charges if you have maliciously harmed their child. These are real and lasting consequences of a decision made in a single moment. That's why we stress the importance of staying grounded in your training, asking for help when needed, and using the support systems around you. With cameras in every classroom, situations are often captured clearly, without context, making it even more important that we uphold our standards at all times. That's why I cannot stress this enough. Never allow a stressful moment or a difficult day to influence how you interact with the child, physically or emotionally. If you feel yourself becoming overwhelmed or dysregulated, take a step back, take a deep breath, and remember that you and your children are safe. Work with your co-teachers, create a safe word to use when you're feeling dysregulated, and communicate with one another to help when things get tough. We must remember we cannot help others if we are not regulated ourselves. So please use the valuable conscious discipline strategies that have been provided to you. Each one of you was here because someone in our organization believed in you, as an educator, as a caregiver, and as a difference maker. Whether it was the HR recruiter who first saw your potential, the director who connected with your passion during the interview, or the school family who couldn't wait to welcome you, you were chosen for a reason. Please don't let a single poor decision made in a moment of stress lead you to consequences that could have been prevented, or worse, consequences that could be life-altering. If there's one thing I hope you take away from our time together today, it's this. Our policies and procedures aren't just about compliance. They're here to protect and support you. Let's hold ourselves and one another accountable, because every moment matters and every child deserves the very best. Good morning and welcome. My name is Heidi Olson, and I'm the Director of Licensing and School Support for the Minnesota region. Today, I'm going to talk to you about behavior guidance policies and the important role you play each day when redirecting behavior in the classroom. Understanding children's behavior is often one of the most challenging aspects of your day. At New Horizon Academy and Kinderberry Hill, our behavior guidance policies provide strategies to support the child and you within the classroom. Okay, I know what you're all thinking when you look at these photos. Yep, you see this multiple times a day. And let's face it, if tantrums burned calories, we'd all be marathon ready by now. When it comes to behavior challenges, it's our job to see difficult behavior as a form of communication. Rather than thinking these children woke up this morning to intentionally make your day challenging, let's shift our thinking and focus on the why. Maybe the child had a power struggle before arriving to school because she wanted to wear her yellow jacket instead of the purple one she has on. Or maybe the child's block tower still needed that one perfect piece before they could possibly join group time because they've never built one this good before. And my personal favorite, playing outside is just so much fun, they don't want to come in. Whatever the reason, these are the moments we often find ourselves standing at the edge of a potential power struggle. And here's the key. It's not really about the jacket. It's not the blocks or the playground. It's how we choose to respond. Each and every time we have an opportunity to guide the moment in a positive direction. It's important we do that before it begins to escalate. One of the most important choices you make each day as an educator is how you choose to interact with the children in your care. The way we respond to challenging behaviors can determine whether a moment escalates or it turns into an opportunity for growth or connection. Today, we're going to explore effective strategies that promote positive outcomes as well as view some prohibited actions. Together, we'll focus on approaches that help children feel safe, understood, and supportive, while also making your role as a teacher more rewarding. At New Horizon Academy and Kinderberry Hill, we believe children who are given the opportunities and support to develop self-control and other social-emotional skills go on to develop a strong foundation for life success. Here are vital behavior guidance key strategies to help you build connectivity and to redirect when challenging behaviors happen in the classroom. Build trusting relationships. Make eye contact with the child. Use nurturing touch and engage in warm, playful interactions. But most important, be present. See behaviors as a missing skill. Anticipate challenges. Interpret behavior as a need for skill building, and teach alternatives. For example, a child who is frustrated, you might say, "You seem mad. You were hoping to stay outside longer. I know that's hard because it's so nice outside. What did you enjoy playing with the most?" Modify the environment. Arrange your spaces for safety and accessibility. Add and remove materials when needed. Adjust schedules and provide plenty large motor activity time. Communicate expectations positively. State what you want to see. Model that behavior and use gestures or visuals when necessary. For example, if your kids are being really loud, you might say, "Match your voice to mine," and then speak softly. Offer 2 positive choices. Give 2 acceptable options to encourage cooperation and self-control. For example, "It's time to clean up, so let's pick up the red cars or the green cars. Which one will you do first? You choose." Offer empathy and validate feelings. Label emotions. Acknowledge desires and co-regulate. When a child is dysregulated, you might say, "You seem angry. You wanted all the tall blocks. Breathe with me." Treat mistakes as learning. Guide solutions without forced apologies. For example, you might say, "Oops, you forgot to walk around the tower. Let's rebuild that together." And engage in cooperative problem solving. Use related consequences to teach safe, expected problem solving. For example, ask Billy, "Can I have a turn?" Or, "He's not ready to share. That's hard. Would you like to find another toy until he's ready?" That gives the child a little bit more control in those choices. As educators, we have the opportunity to model the very behaviors we hope to see in children. When we bring joy, playfulness, and genuine connection into our interactions, children mirror that back to us. Have fun, build relationships, and celebrate the small moments, because the more we model kindness and joy, the more we will be having that reflected right back to us. We must now address one of the most critical parts of behavior guidance: understanding and following state regulations that protect children from harm. The actions we are going to review are not only against our policies, but they meet the definition of maltreatment, abuse, and neglect under state law. They are strictly prohibited in all schools. Corporal punishment, including but not limited to rough handling, pushing, shoving, shaking, excessive tickling, slapping, kicking, biting, pinching, hitting, spitting, spanking, and pulling of arms, hair, or ears. Emotional abuse, including name-calling, ostracism, shaming, derogatory remarks about the child or family, cultural or racial slurs, threatening, humiliating, or frightening language. Separation, except to a non-enclosed area of the classroom where the child is continuously seen and heard by all staff. Separation is a last resort and must be part of a child's individual child care program plan. Punishment for developmental behaviors. This includes lapses in toileting habits or thumb sucking. Withholding, denying, or threatening to withhold food, light, warmth, clothing, or medical care as a punishment of unacceptable behavior. Physical restraint, except brief, supportive interaction to prevent imminent danger to self or others, includes forcing uncomfortable positions or repetitious movements. All physical restraint is strictly prohibited in our Kansas schools. Mechanical restraints, such as tying. Sexual or sexualized touch, any touching of vulva, breast, penis, scrotum, buttocks, or anus except for direct care or cleaning. Exposure to adult sexual body parts, including visual images. Sexual or sexualized language or sounds, mentions of sexual acts, touch, or contact, including through music, videos, or other media while children are present. When assisting children in your classroom, your actions and motions when handling a child must be appropriate and gentle at all times. To prevent dislocated elbow or injuries to children, it is crucial to always use proper lifting techniques. Children's joints and ligaments are still developing. Therefore, pulling or yanking a child's arm can easily cause a painful elbow dislocation. Here are some safe caregiving practices that we must follow each day. Lift safely. Support children under their arms or around their torso. Hold hands gently. Avoid pulling or swinging children by their arms or hands. Guide children. Do not yank or pull. When redirecting, gently guide by the shoulders or the back. Always use 2 hands when helping a child onto furniture, playground equipment, or simply changing their location in the classroom. Teach safe play. Remind children to not pull on each other's arms. It is imperative that you always avoid these high-risk actions. You may not swing a child by their arms or hands. You may not pull, push, or yank a child by their wrist or arm. You may never lift a child up off the floor with one arm. You may not force a child's arm into clothing quickly or roughly. The way we handle children speaks louder than words. Rough handling can cause injury and breaks trust with our children and their families. Our reputation is built on nurturing care. Every interaction is our chance to show children they are safe, valued, and loved. Every staff member is responsible for keeping children safe. For children with food allergies, this can be a matter of life or death. It takes careful attention, regular training, and always following our allergy policies. Let's go over the key steps to keep children with food allergies safe. The individual allergy charts must be posted in your classroom and in clear view. You must refer to the chart to ensure the right food is being served to the right child. Always double check to ensure a child's allergen is not served to them. Children with food allergies must always use red plates, cups, and bowls. No exceptions. Red dishes are used for every meal and snack. Again, no exceptions. Red dishes must be labeled with the child's first and last name. Food is put on red dishes in the kitchen only. You must double check food for accuracy before giving it to the child. Second helpings for allergy plates must come from the kitchen only. If food is not served on a red plate for a child with allergies, you must contact the kitchen manager or your leadership immediately to ensure allergen-safe food is being served to the child. In order to keep our children with allergies safe, safe food and serving habits must always be top of mind. All children and staff must wash hands before serving food and after all meals. Keep safe food away and separated from unsafe food in both the classroom and in the kitchen. Staff must change gloves when handling unsafe food and then handling safe food to prevent a cross-contamination from occurring. Sanitize tables and chairs before and after each meal. Sweep floors thoroughly and immediately after each meal to ensure an allergen is not accessible to a child on the floor. And one more important reminder, no outside food is allowed in the classroom. To help protect children with allergies, you must always slow down, focus, and avoid distractions when serving allergy children in your care. This will help prevent mistakes from occurring. Always double check for accuracy before serving food to a child with an allergy. You must always refer to the allergy chart before you serve food to verify the right food is being served to the right child. Always know where allergy action plans and rescue medications are located. If an accident ever occurs where you believe a child has had contact or ingested their allergen, alert the leadership immediately. Allergic reactions can happen in seconds, so you must act quickly. And this is a reminder, we must always actively supervise children during all meals, especially those children with food allergies. Be diligent at every meal, every snack, every day. Keeping children with food allergies safe is our duty. By following our allergy policy carefully, we are protecting lives.
Hello, and thank you for being here today. My name is Amber Stattman, and I am the Manager of Licensing and School Support at New Horizon Academy and Kinderberry Hill. Over the next few slides, I'm going to discuss how you can go beyond compliance and child care supervision and create a culture of safety at our schools. What is active supervision? Active supervision is more than just being physically present. It's about being engaged, aware, and responsive to the children's needs and actions, putting aside the distractions such as your cell phone, gossiping, socializing, along with prepping your activities ahead of time, perhaps during nap time, and staying regulated will help you actively engage in supervision to provide a safe, loving, trusting, and nurturing environment for the children in your care. Active supervision means you are constantly attentive to the children's location, activities, and needs, not just being present, but fully alert. By being fully alert in your classroom, you will ensure the safety of the children, foster learning, create connections, and reduce injuries by closely tracking children and acting proactively. Here we explore the wide-ranging benefits of active supervision, not just in safety, but in promoting positive emotional and cognitive development. Active supervision not only prevents accidents and injuries by being able to respond adequately when there is inherent danger, but also enhances children's social, emotional, and cognitive development by fostering a safe, supportive environment where children can explore and learn confidently. By intentionally applying these strategies, you can reduce injuries, address challenges proactively, and create a nurturing space that supports every child's growth and safety. This approach is essential for meeting state licensing requirements and best practices in childcare safety. Implementing these strategies consistently will create a culture of safety and engagement that benefits children, staff, and families. These are the core components of effective supervision. Each plays a role in ensuring a safe and enriching environment for every child. Active supervision in our schools involves continuously monitoring, engaging, and anticipating children's behaviors, using strategies like environment setup, staff positioning, scanning and counting, listening, anticipating behaviors, and engaging or redirecting to ensure safety and positive development. When our environment is set up for success with clear sight lines and minimal blind spots, we are able to scan the room efficiently to ensure the safety and well-being of the children. Minimize the risk of incidents happening by not allowing enclosed areas such as a tent with no windows in your classroom. If there are blind spots in your classroom or on the playground, it is your responsibility to ensure they are highly monitored. As you position yourself in your classroom or on the playground, ensure you're able to monitor the children effectively. Ensure that you're able to see what is happening in your classrooms or outdoors at all times. When we have our backs turned and our heads down, this is when incidents happen, such as eloping, inappropriate touching, and behaviors. And you're not able to prevent these hard situations from happening due to being inattentive to the children and the environment. Moving around both your classroom and playground will help you be aware of all children and situations. Ensure you are continuously scanning and counting while in your classroom. This component of active supervision will allow you to ensure you know how many kids and who you have in your care at all times. You will also be able to recognize quickly if there is a child missing or imminent danger. Active listening in your classroom for any verbal or nonverbal cues will keep your attention heightened to ensure the children are safe and actively engaged in activities. Engaging with children in your classroom while they are doing an activity will create a trusting environment. When you nurture a relationship with the children in your care, they are less likely to engage in unsafe behaviors and respond to you when you need to redirect them. When direction is necessary, ensure it is in a positive manner by getting down on their level and talking through their needs. And if needed, moving them in a way their body deserves and is respected. Today, there are multiple areas that need to be highly monitored to ensure all the children in our schools are accounted for and feel safe. Classroom supervision, once again, ensuring your classroom is set up for appropriately and you position yourself to ensure you are supervising the classroom to the best of your ability. Outside and playground supervision is one of the highest risks for incidents to arise from leaving a child unsupervised to a child getting hurt. You need to ensure that you are actively supervising at all times on the playground. Continuous movement, scanning, monitoring blind spots, ensuring you do all the transition steps, and staying engaged will greatly minimize any incidents from occurring. Bathroom supervision is another critical area of supervision. Toddlers and young preschoolers must always be supervised when using the restroom. Leaving the door open, or if you have a half door, you may shut that door, but must remain in sight and sound of the bathroom and actively supervise them while in there. When a single older preschooler or school ager uses the bathroom, they may close the door, but it is your responsibility to ensure their privacy and safety in the bathroom and check on them at least every 5 minutes. If you have a bathroom with more than one toilet in the bathroom and 2 children are using the restroom, you must always supervise them. If your classroom has a conjoined bathroom, also known as Jack and Jill bathrooms, you must always supervise the children, even if there is only one child in the bathroom, to ensure their privacy and safety and no other child enters from the other classroom. During nap time, it is your responsibility to ensure you can hear and see any incidents that arise. This includes positioning yourself, keeping your head up, and ears open. If you take your children on field trips, it is critically important that you know where your children are at all times. This means using all the components of active supervision and having a heightened awareness of your surroundings to ensure the safety of the children. Our internal policies at New Horizon Academy and Kinderberry Hill support the structure for successful supervision practices. Knowing and applying them consistently helps maintain a safe environment. As Heidi previously said, these policies are here to protect not only the children, but also you. To ensure all children are accounted for at all times, you must follow all steps of the transition policy at every transition. First, lay out the rope. Second, have the children line up and call the children by name, one by one, to come grab a loop. Place an X by each name when you see their face on the rope. Do not let this be a robotic step. You must ensure the child is on the rope. Third, count how many children you have. Fourth, when you have a co-teacher, verbally confirm with them that the number of children you have is correct. If you are by yourself, count twice to verbally confirm you have the correct number of children. Next, sweep the area to ensure the children are with you and nobody is hiding in the classroom or outside. Last, when you arrive at your destination, place an X by their name as they let go of the loop on the walking rope and you physically see their face. Remember, if there are any distractions, such as a parent picking up, the phone rings, or a child becomes dysregulated, you must start the transition steps over to ensure all the children are with you. Cell phones and earbuds must be put away at all times while you are in the classrooms to ensure you are actively supervising the children. When an incident arises in your classroom, it is critical that when we do an investigation that we see you engaging and monitoring in your classrooms. If you are consistently on your phone or smartwatch, that may be immediate grounds for termination. Please see your school leadership team if you have a personal emergency where you need someone to get a hold of you and they can ensure the correct resources are available for you. Our safety and supervision policy outlines critical components of active supervision. All children must be within sight and sound at all times and focus all of your attention on supervising your group of children. Always know the exact number of children you are responsible for, their names, and where they are at all times. Ratios and distribution must always be maintained in the classroom, on the playground, on a field trip, or being transported. Rotate throughout your classroom and on the playground. While outside, it is not a time to let your guard down. Do not congregate, use your cell phone, leave your classroom out of ratio, or take long sitting breaks while outside. Ensure you monitor your classroom and playground for any safety hazards. If you have broken toys or sharp edges, let your management team know right away. When you arrive outside, ensure the gates are closed tightly and check for any hazards that may be dangerous and alert your management team. Your school's risk reduction plan, which you are trained on during orientation when changes are made, and each calendar year outlines any risks that may cause injury or harm to the children in your care. The risk reduction plan assesses these risks and shows you what policy or procedure at New Horizon Academy reduces the risk, including but not limited to injury and supervision. When supervision strategies are applied intentionally and consistently, we create a culture of trust, engagement, and safety that benefits everyone. Let's commit to a proactive mindset. Let's be present and vigilant and lead by example in maintaining the highest standards of safety. Lastly, I would like to touch base on mandated reporting. As soon as you become employed at New Horizon Academy or Kinderberry Hill, you become a mandated reporter. This means you must report any suspected maltreatment, which includes egregious harm, neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, substantial child endangerment, threatened injury, or mental injury to a child as soon as possible, but no longer than 24 hours to your state's Central Intake or Child Protective Services. Your school has a list of important phone numbers listed by each phone for you to easily access the proper phone numbers. If you need further details on mandated reporting, please see your school's leadership team.
Hello, my name is Lori Heidelberger, and I am the Director Support Specialist for the Minnesota region for New Horizon Academy. Today I am going to discuss with you some important general safety reminders, diapering procedures, hand washing, and how we represent ourselves goes a long way. When we look at our classrooms, we want to keep in mind safety first. We have all heard, "Oh, it was just for a minute," or "I'm in that cabinet all the time, so why do I have to lock it?" Kids are fast, curious, and accidents happen quickly. Whether you have magnet locks, safety latches, or key locks, they need to be locked all the time. And if it is a key, it must be taken out of the lock and hung on the hook. We hear a lot about if it's an infant room, why do we have to lock them if they can't get to them? Remember that any child can enter our classroom, so we are protecting all children in our care. Personal items like purses, phones, wallets, keys, and drink cups also need to be put in an area that is locked. Just think about all the things you have in your backpack or purse. Do you carry medications, scissors, or even coins? All of these items and many more can put a child in danger if they get a hold of it. As a company, we strive for the best, and with that comes policy updates and annual trainings. It is imperative that you take the time to fully read these forms and understand what is being asked and sign and date them. When you sign and date them, you are stating you understand and will follow how that policy is written. Sometimes our coworkers do not follow a policy. What do? Do you sit silent and not say anything? Do you talk to them about it and help correct it with them? Do you tell a manager? Each situation is a bit different, but you should not sit silent and not say anything. You are putting the children in our care, your coworker, yourself, and our company at risk if something happens and we find out you knew about it and didn't act. If you see something, you must say something. A big portion of our day, especially in our younger classrooms, is diapering. This is your one-on-one time with a child, but it is also a very important time to follow health and safety regulations. Please review your state-specific diapering procedures posted in your classroom. Following our diapering procedures is an important health and safety step we must take every time we lay a child on the changing table. From start, gathering of supplies and assisting of children onto the table, to during the process, cleaning the child properly, to finishing, washing the child's hands, your hands, and sanitizing the area, keeps not only you but the whole classroom healthy. It also ensures each child and staff person is safe during the diapering process. Diaper areas are never to be used as a teacher prep area or food area. Hand washing is our #1 way to keep our children in our care, our parents, and especially ourselves healthy. Proper hand washing is using soap and water and washing our hands or the children's hands for 20 seconds. Hand washing needs to be done at many different times of the day. Some examples are upon arrival, before and after meals, after diapering or assisting a child in the bathroom, before and after sensory play, after outside. The list is endless. The more you wash, the healthier we all stay. Getting children into this practice now stays with them for a lifetime. We are all educators, and we care for the most important thing on this planet. The children in our care is our future. Do you ever struggle with parents not taking you seriously? Think about these 4 questions. When a parent, staff member, or any other adult enters the classroom, do you welcome them with a smile and a hello? Do you call them by name? Knowing their first names goes a long way in making connections. Are you dressed in the correct uniform every day? Wearing uniform, first of all, tells everyone entering the room who the teachers are, but it also sets our professionalism with everyone around us. Remember, New Horizon Academy, Kinderberry Hill should always be your top layer. If you are cold, then purchasing an approved sweatshirt to wear is important. And remember, bottoms need to be black, tan, or jeans, and no see-through or holes. Do you hear from parents? I never know what my child does during the day. Please remember, entering your activities and pictures into ProCare tells the parent the story of their child's day. We do so much more than change diapers and feed a child. Refer to our ProCare guidelines if you need a refresher. When a child gets picked up, do you stop and have a conversation with that parent? Parents love to hear about what their child did during the day. Having that personal conversation builds that relationship. It can be as simple as when we were outside, they learned how to jump on 1 foot. If you answer no to any of these, then it is time for a change in you before parents and others will start taking what you say seriously. Connections build relationships, and better relationships makes those times when tough conversations have to be had a whole lot easier.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Becky Strauch, and I'm one of New Horizon Academy's Director Support Specialists for the Minnesota region. I'm here to talk with you about safe sleep and our nap and rest policies. As quality early childhood education providers, one of our most important responsibilities is ensuring the health and safety of the children in our care. Among the many areas where we must stay informed and vigilant, safe sleep practices stand out as a critical component of preventing sudden, unexpected infant deaths and other incidents that could occur during nap and rest times. So today, we're going to talk about the key elements of safe sleep for infants and young children and how we can apply these best practices consistently in our schools. Whether you are new to the field or have years of experience, this is a topic that deserves our full attention and ongoing commitment. Let's begin by exploring why safe sleep is so important. As early childhood education professionals, we all share a common goal: to provide a safe, nurturing environment for the children we care for every day. One of the most critical ways we do that is by recognizing the importance of and following safe sleep practices. Consistency in doing so allows us to ensure safe and healthy rest for all children, lowers the risk for sudden unexpected infant death, and helps protect infants and young children during naps. It also keeps our programs in compliance with licensing guidelines and reassures families that their children are safe. What does safe sleep look like? To start, all infants must be placed in a crib to sleep. The crib must meet all CSPC and state licensing guidelines and must have a firm mattress with a securely fitted crib sheet. Before placing an infant in a crib, check to be sure the sheet is properly covering the top and all four sides of the mattress tightly, without any wrinkles. If an infant falls asleep somewhere else, such as in a swing or an infant seat, they must be moved to a crib as soon as practicably possible. When placing the infant in a crib, they must always be placed on their back, regardless of their age or ability to roll. There are no exceptions to this rule. If a child under the age of 6 months rolls over on their own, you must roll them back onto their back each time they roll over, unless a parent or guardian has completed the required documentation acknowledging that the child regularly rolls over from their back to their stomach at home and authorizing us to allow them to remain sleeping on their stomach. But remember, even with that documentation, we must still set the infant on their back when placing them in the crib. A crib tag that designates if a child is able to roll over on their own can be found on WeConnect if you would like to use that. But again, even if a child is capable of rolling over on their own, we must still place them in the crib on their back, with no exceptions. Before placing a child in a crib, you must also remove any bibs, hoods, or other clothing and sleepwear that may be weighted, as they are unsafe during sleep. These items put a child at risk of suffocation or strangulation. If a child is wearing clothing with a hood, they must be changed into something else before being placed down to sleep. Tucking a hood in is never allowed. It must be removed. Swaddling is not allowed at any time, under any circumstance. Sleep sacks are only allowed until 4 months of age, and New Horizon Academy or Kinderberry Hill will provide these. The use of blankets, pillows, stuffed toys, or other soft products is never allowed in the cribs. To ensure proper safety and supervision while infants are sleeping, the following things must happen. The classroom must be properly lit. In an infant classroom, that means the lights must always remain on. Music or noise machines must be played at a reasonable level. They cannot be so loud that staff are unable to hear the children. A staff person must go into the crib room no less than every 30 minutes to check on sleeping infants. When a new child starts with us, a staff person must go in the crib room every 15 minutes for their first 4 months of enrollment. Mattresses may not be propped up during the day, as this blocks your view of the sleeping infants. A child under the age of 1 year may only wear a helmet while sleeping if we have proper documentation and an ICCPP on file. The use of Danny slings is only allowed if it has been prescribed by a doctor, we have the proper documentation on file, an ICCPP has been created, and our licensing department has approved it. Now let's talk about toddlers and preschool children. These children sleep on cots that are placed throughout the classroom, and they are allowed to use blankets, pillows, and stuffed animals. The cots must be arranged so there are clear aisles and unimpeded access for both adults and children on at least one side. Cots must be placed directly on the floor and may not be stacked when in use. Toddlers and preschoolers who use a blanket must keep their heads uncovered at all times. If a child's head becomes covered during the rest period, a staff member must remove the blanket from their head right away. Staff members may never cover a child's head with a blanket for the purpose of falling asleep. Sustained holding of a child in a face-down prone position for the purpose of falling asleep at rest time is strictly prohibited. You may never hold a child down to try and force them to nap. Also, a child who has completed a nap or rested quietly for 30 minutes must not be required to remain on their cot. Once 30 minutes have passed or a child awakes, their cot must be put away and the child should be allowed to get up and engage in a quiet activity. Appropriate supervision during rest time is achieved through both sight and sound supervision within the classroom. All toddler and preschool classrooms must remain dimly lit. There needs to be adequate lighting during rest time so that you can visibly see each child in the classroom in case they need immediate care. Windows may not be covered with materials intended to darken the classroom. All window covering must be approved by your district manager or area director and installed by a member of our facilities team. Music and noise machines may be used to set the tone and encourage peaceful rest, but they must be played at a reasonable level. Music and noise must not be so loud that the staff are unable to hear the children. You must be aware of the placement and actions of each child during nap and rest time. Here are a few other things to keep in mind regarding our nap and rest times. You must ensure that all cribs and cots are labeled and use a chart system to designate where each child's rest spot is within the classroom. All cots should be sprayed with a proper sanitizing solution after use. If children are sharing a crib, you must change the sheets and sanitize the crib between children. All bedding, whether it is provided by us or by the parent, must be washed weekly, as well as any time they become soiled or wet. All children's personal items must be stored in a manner that prevents them from touching other children's belongings. The easiest way to ensure this is done is by keeping their personal blankets and pillows stored in their lockers. Every staff member shares the responsibility of ensuring that our safe sleep procedures are being followed consistently in order to help protect the children in our care. As you move through your daily routine, I hope you remember that safe sleep isn't just a best practice. It's a licensing requirement and, more importantly, a key part of protecting the lives of the children in our care. My hope is that we have helped reinforce your understanding of what safe sleep looks like and strengthened your commitment to keeping our youngest children safe while they sleep by confidently and consistently applying these practices each day. If you have any questions about any of the things that we discussed, please feel free to reach out at any time.
It's important to remember that licensing standards are not something we simply switch on when we're preparing for annual inspections. We must abide by these standards each and every day. These standards are not simply checklists, they are safeguards that protect children, practices that build trust with families, and choices that elevate our profession. Just as important, licensing standards also protect you, the educator, by creating safe, consistent, and supportive environments in which you can do your best work every day. Every moment in the classroom matters. Every routine, every interaction, every decision is a reflection of the quality we promise children, families, and one another as colleagues. Licensing's not about compliance, it's about commitment. When we live these standards every day, we ensure that children are safe, educators are supported, and together we inspire young learners to thrive. Well, our time today has come to an end, and we would like to say a special thank you for sharing your time with us today. Remember, you could be that one person who makes a lasting difference in a child's life. Go and do great things with your children. Laugh with them, learn with them, and love every moment together. We wish you well.